I want to address another important topic, and that is Iowa's child care crisis. Access to affordable health care, high quality, child care in the state of Iowa is certainly an issue that precedes the pandemic, but it was intensified during it. From the public health threat that caused some child care centers to reduce spots or close entirely to the economic impact on so many Iowa families, the shortage of child care was again in the spotlight. It's an issue that we seem to tackle every year, but we've yet to come up with the solutions that not only resolve the immediate needs of working parents, but it creates a long-term sustainable system. In its final report to me, the Economic Recovery Advisory Board identified child care as the #1 opportunity for economic growth as we continue to navigate our recovery from COVID-19. And they recommended convening a group of Iowans to develop a strategic plan. I'm pleased to announce that later today, I'll be issuing my 8th executive order establishing the Governor's Child Care Task Force, which will be chaired by Emily Schmidt. She is the General Counsel of Soup Cup Manufacturing and a working mom who served on the Economic Recovery Advisory Board and is passionate about improving access to child care for hardworking families. I'm really grateful that Emily is here with me today to provide some additional information about the opportunities ahead and really her goals for the task force during its 100-day work session. Emily?
Thank you, Governor, and good morning. My name is Emily Schmidt, and I work for a family-owned and operated soup manufacturing company. And I'm a mother of 2 daughters, and my husband, Andy, also works. And we have many family, friends, and colleagues who are also working parents. And it was an honor to serve on the Governor's Economic Advisory Board. And our goal for that was to identify areas of strategic growth for Iowa as we move forward from this COVID-19 pandemic. The report we released just this past month identified the priority to confront and address Iowa's child care crisis. While Iowa has the highest rate in the entire country with households of all parents working, we also face a shortage of high-quality child care in every corner of the state. One estimate calculates this shortage to be 350,000 child care slots statewide. One term you're going to find in the report uses is child care desert. This means that there are 3 or more children that need care for every 1 existing child care slot. Unfortunately, 23% of Iowans live in a child care desert. When you look at rural Iowa, which is where our manufacturing facility is in Sheffield, Iowa, this stat goes up to 35%. One of my goals with this task force is to take an expansive view of Iowa's child care needs. I work in manufacturing sector, which is Iowa's top by GDP. I've seen firsthand that child care availability directly impacts our workforce. We also cannot ignore that 60% of the workers that left the workforce in this past year were women. The pandemic has disproportionately affected women's opportunities for pursuing for careers and advancement, and that is a reality that we cannot accept. Some of our actions for this task force will be to study successful delivery models from other states. We will work to identify the correct regulatory environments to foster both safety and quality. We are also going to think of how to incentivize Iowa employers to be partners with this child care assistance. And we're going to measure our success with the goal of increasing Iowa's child care slots by 50% within 5 years. Governor, thank you for taking such swift action on this task force because it's going to benefit all Iowa families. And big challenges really require bold solutions. And within the next 100 days, we're going to have necessary and productive conversations on this topic because we're going to be addressing this major challenge facing us Iowans. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Emily. And I so appreciate your willingness to lean into the leadership role and the unique perspective that you offer on Iowa's rural communities. As you said, access to childcare is an issue in every single corner of our state, and we need to do everything that we can to resolve it so that every Iowa parent can pursue opportunities to better themselves and their families. In the meantime, many communities across the state have been working hard to develop and fund local projects that address child care access and support working families. Today, the Department of Human Services and Iowa Workforce Development will award more than $13 million to support the expansion of child care in communities across the state. Together, the two agencies reviewed more than 70 applications, then leveraged the best available funding source for each project to ensure that every eligible applicant received the maximum amount possible. I want to thank Beth Townsend, who is the Director of Iowa Workforce Development, Kelly Garcia, Director of the Department of Human Services, and Janae Harvey, the Department of Human Services Division Administrator for Adult, Children, and Family Services, and Taryn Frederis, who is a part of my team, for their teamwork and collaboration to make this possible. As we sat around the table in my office and I listened to them talk about the eligible funding opportunities to see how we could really braid that funding and collaborate together to really allocate it in a responsible manner was exciting. And so I think this is a great place to start, and it's just going to be great timing for the Child Care Task Force to step in and take what we're hearing and really build on that. And so I'm excited about the future. The Department of Human Services will reward more than $12 million through its Investing in Iowa's Child Care funding program, which provides financial support, personal training, equipment, and supplies for new or existing child care facilities. And then another million from the Future Ready Iowa Child Care Challenge grants that's ran through the Iowa Workforce Development will support community projects that establish local child care facilities. So one of those award recipients is the Grundy Community Preschool and Child Care Center in Grundy Center, which will receive a Child Care Challenge grant in the amount of $97,500 to fund the construction of a new space in the former upper elementary school building. This community-wide project will result in additional 36 child care slots and so much more. So here to share more about the impressive project and what it will mean for the community is Melanie Hoy, and she is the board chair of Maroon and White. It's a nonprofit dedicated to supporting child care and early education in Grundy County. Melanie?
Thank you, Governor Reynolds, the state of Iowa, and Iowa Workforce Development. I am delighted and grateful that you have chosen our project for one of your awards for the Future Ready Iowa Child Care Challenge Grant. The nonprofit Maroon and White was formed with a vision and purpose to accomplish two things: to restore and preserve a school building in our community and to increase availability for quality, affordable child care services. An alumnus who attended the school in this very building kicked off our project with a very generous donation of $500,000. And it's been interesting, to say the least, to attempt to fundraise amidst a global pandemic, having to cancel many in-person fundraising events, but yet we have persevered. The school building was built in 1939 as a high school and operated as such until the late 1950s. It was then home to the junior high, which I attended, and lastly as the upper elementary for 5th and 6th graders until the early 90s. Since then, the only licensed preschool in Grundy Center has operated in the building, along with the YMCA before and after school programs, the Y Summer program, along with Head Start offices. The project, which we have named the Kid Campus, will completely renovate the entire structure to not only allow the current tenants to remain, but will also allow the community daycare to relocate into the building. Both the Grundy Community Preschool and Daycare have significant waiting lists, And with this renovation, we will be able to add classrooms and daycare space to allow for an increase of over 60% for both the preschool and daycare. The building is also located on the grounds next to the elementary, which provides a level of convenience for parents that may have children in both the elementary, preschool, and/or daycare. We call it the one-stop shop. The playground area will be named for a young mother of 4 in our community who sadly recently lost her battle to cancer. As we know, child care services are so important to young working families. This will help in retaining and recruiting young families to our community. But it goes beyond that. It provides an important role in economic, business, and community development. This money will allow us to start interior work this spring on added additional classrooms, a new commercial kitchen, and laundry room. This building holds many fond memories for all that have walked the halls in the past, and will provide now an updated, modern, safe, and healthy facility to ensure a bright future for generations of children to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melody, and congratulations. We're excited to come see the project when it's complete, and I wish you much luck through the renovation process. There are a lot of good things happening in Iowa, from our progress with vaccination to getting back to business as usual and resolving issues like childcare that will even further fuel our economy. These are just some of the reasons why Iowa is ranked #1 for opportunity. As announced just yesterday in the U.S. News & World Report state rankings for 2021. So even though we already knew that opportunity lives here, we can be very proud that our state has been recognized across the country. I know that I certainly am.